Most martial arts teach you how to block a punch or throw a kick. But what if I told you there's an art that trains you to fight as if your opponent is always armed with a knife, a stick, or even a hidden blade? An art that transforms umbrellas, pens, flashlights, or even car keys into lethal weapons in your hands. This is Kali, the Filipino martial art designed for survival in the harshest street encounters. It's not about rules, belts, or trophies. It's about staying alive when the odds are stacked against you. Today, we're diving into 10 shocking secrets that reveal why Kali just might be the deadliest martial art you've never heard of. Let's start with the name itself. Kali, also called arnis or eskrima, carries deep cultural roots in the Philippines. It's more than just a combat system. It's a national treasure, officially recognized as the martial art of the nation. The word Kali is often linked to the ancient term for blade, highlighting its weapon-centered origins. But don't be fooled into thinking it's only about swords and sticks. Kali is a fluid survival art, blending weapons, empty-hand fighting, and strategy into one complete system. Unlike arts that confine you to rigid rules, Kali adapts, shifting like water, striking with the ferocity of thunder, and flowing seamlessly from weapon-to-hand combat. Kali's roots are soaked in the blood and fire of survival. Over 4 centuries ago, when Filipino tribes faced constant warfare, they needed an art that worked in the chaos of real battlefields. When Spanish conquistadors arrived with steel weapons and military formations, Filipino warriors met them head-on with rattan sticks, improvised weapons, and raw ingenuity. Kali wasn't polished in dojos. It was forged in life-or-death encounters where hesitation meant defeat. Every strike, block, and counter comes from centuries of adaptation against real threats, which is why Kali is considered one of the most battle-tested martial arts in existence. At the heart of Kali lies the Baston, a 28-inch rattan stick. It may seem simple, but in trained hands, it becomes an unstoppable extension of the body. The Baston isn't just for offense, it's for smashing bones, deflecting strikes, controlling distance, and disarming enemies. But here's the genius. Kali doesn't stop with the stick. Training with the Baston conditions your brain to see anything in your environment, a cane, a broomstick, even a rolled-up magazine, as a potential weapon. This mindset turns ordinary objects into instant shields of survival, making Kali not just a martial art, but a real-world defense system. Kali takes things up a notch with Sinawali, the art of double-stick fighting. At first glance, it looks like a mesmerizing dance, 2 sticks weaving in hypnotic, crisscrossing patterns. But this dance is a combat language. Sinawali sharpens ambidexterity, forces your left and right hand to work independently, and ingrains devastating strike combinations. More importantly, it prepares you for multi-directional threats, where enemies attack from all sides. Imagine defending against 2 attackers, shifting angles, striking, blocking, and countering in one fluid rhythm. That's the beauty and brutality of Sinawali. Kali is world-renowned for its knife-fighting skills known as daga techniques. In many martial arts, knives are taboo or left out completely, but in Kali, knives are front and center. Practitioners learn precise slashes, deadly stabs, lightning-fast disarms, and evasive counters designed to neutralize threats instantly. Knife attacks are among the hardest to survive in real life, but Kali prepares you with the angles, timing, and reflexes to not only survive, but to turn the tables. That's why law enforcement and military units around the world borrow heavily from Kali's blade strategies. When weapons aren't available, Kali doesn't leave you defenseless. Enter Panantukan, also called Filipino dirty boxing. This isn't the clean, rule-bound boxing you see in the ring. It's ruthless, close-quarter destruction. It uses elbows to slice, knees to crush, headbutts to break, and even eye gouges or joint manipulations to overwhelm opponents. Every strike is designed to exploit weaknesses instantly. It's a reminder that Kali isn't about sport. It's about doing whatever it takes to end the fight and walk away alive. One of Kali's greatest secrets lies in its training methods. Instead of rigid routines, Kali emphasizes flow drills like hubud-lubud. These repetitive hand-trapping and countering patterns build unbreakable reflexes. The goal is to eliminate hesitation, so when a strike comes, you don't think, you just react. Over time, this flow makes attack and defense second nature, allowing you to transition seamlessly from weapon to hand, from strike to counter, without breaking rhythm. It's combat programming for the nervous system. What makes Kali stand apart from most martial arts is its mindset. In many systems, you train as if your opponent will fight fairly, punches, kicks, maybe a grapple. But Kali begins with a darker, more realistic assumption: your opponent is armed. Whether it's a stick, a knife, or even a hidden blade, Kali trains you to expect the worst. Every drill, every footwork pattern, and every angle of attack is built on the idea that weapons are in play. This philosophy doesn't just prepare you for one attacker, it readies you for multiple threats coming from unexpected directions. In real life, that means you aren't caught off guard. You're already moving, countering, and using clever angles to take control of the fight before it overwhelms you. Kali isn't just a cultural treasure, it's a global combat tool. Modern warriors across the world use it as a foundation for close-quarters combat. The U.S. Navy SEALs, Special Forces, and elite law enforcement units all integrate Kali into their training. Why? Because it's practical, efficient, and deadly effective in real-world situations. Riot police use it for stick control. Counter-terrorism units use it for blade defense. Security professionals use it to manage surprise attacks in tight spaces. What began as a tribal survival system has evolved into a combat language spoken by warriors on the front lines of today's most dangerous conflicts. That's proof of just how timeless and lethal Kali really is. If you've ever watched action blockbusters like The Bourne Identity or John Wick, you've already seen Kali in action. Those fluid, close-range fight scenes where weapons and hands blend seamlessly, that's pure Filipino martial arts. But here's the kicker. Unlike flashy movie acrobatics, Kali doesn't rely on tricks or special effects. It's designed to work in real life. Whether you're in jeans and a hoodie, stuck in a crowded alley, or even defending yourself on rough terrain, its techniques adapt to what you're wearing, what you're holding, and where you are. That makes it one of the most practical martial arts for self-defense, even in modern urban environments. That's Kali, the art of survival, hidden in plain sight. If you found this eye-opening, hit like, subscribe for more martial breakdowns, and tell me in the comments, would you train in Kali? Until next time, stay sharp and stay fierce.